March 1985, Hamburg studio, mid-afternoon. The package arrived at 2:47 p.m. Delivery courier, large box, heavy, carefully wrapped. The manager signed for it, looked at the label, smiled, called Dieter and Thomas. "You need to see this, both of you, come to the office." They arrived within minutes, curious. The manager rarely called them both unless something significant was happening. The box sat on the desk, unopened, waiting. "What is it?" Thomas asked. "Open it," the manager said. Excitement visible. Dieter approached, careful, methodical, cut the tape, opened the flaps, pulled out protective wrapping, styrofoam, bubble wrap, layers of protection, then gold, actual gold, a plaque, mounted, polished, official, the first gold record. "For You're My Heart, You're My Soul," 250 copies sold in Germany. The certification plaque was heavy. Real weight, real achievement, real proof. The manager lifted it out, held it up. "Your first gold record, congratulations." Thomas moved closer, looked at it. The record itself was mounted on dark backing, gold finish gleaming. Below it an engraved plate, "Modern Talking, You're My Heart, You're My Soul, gold record, 250 copies, March 1985. Professional, official, permanent." Dieter stood beside Thomas, also looking, both silent, both staring. The manager waited for reaction, for excitement, for celebration, for something. Neither spoke, just looked. The silence stretched, became noticeable. The manager glanced between them. "Pretty amazing, right? Your first gold record, it's beautiful." Thomas said, quiet. "It's proof," Dieter added, also quiet. "Proof of what?" "That it worked, that people connected." "Yes," Thomas agreed. They connected. More silence. The manager sensed something, a weight, an unspoken tension, but didn't understand it. "We should hang it in the studio, where clients can see it, where you can see it every day." "Where?" Thomas asked. Casual question, loaded meaning. "Where what?" "Where in the studio?" "Which wall? Does it matter?" "Just curious." Dieter turned. The main room, visible, central. "Your side or my side?" Thomas asked, still casual, still loaded. "It's not about sides, it's the studio, our studio." "Right, our studio, our record, our achievement." The manager heard the emphasis, the subtle stress on "our," still didn't fully understand, but felt the undercurrent. They hung it on the wall, central location, visible from anywhere in the studio. Neutral territory, neither Dieter's compositional space nor Thomas's vocal booth. Shared wall, shared achievement. Both men stood back, looking at it, mounted, official, real. The manager left them, went to handle other business. Dieter and Thomas remained, standing, looking, silent. Minutes passed. Finally Dieter spoke. "250,000 people bought it." "Yes, that's significant, very. It's because the song worked." "Yes, because the composition was strong." Thomas turned, looked at Dieter. "The composition was strong, the performance sold it." "Both mattered." "Yes, both. Equal contribution." Dieter asked, not aggressive, just curious, measuring. "I don't know. How do you measure?" "You don't, you can't. Composition creates the foundation. Performance brings it to life, both essential, neither sufficient alone. So equal, in necessity, maybe not in, I don't know, authorship." Thomas felt the word, authorship, ownership, credit. "You wrote it, you composed every note, you arranged everything, you produced it. You created the song, and you sang it, you delivered it, you gave it emotion, you made people feel it, you turned notes into meaning. So we both own it." The plaque says "Modern Talking," both of us, equally credited, but not equally responsible. Responsible for what? For the achievement, for the success, for the 250. Copies, Dieter considered, carefully. "I created something. You completed it. Without my composition, there's nothing to sing. Without your voice, no one hears it. Chicken and egg, circular logic, no good answer. But you think one came first." "Of course one came first. Composition precedes performance. That's temporal fact, but that doesn't mean it's more valuable, just earlier in the sequence." "Do you think it's more valuable?" Direct question. Dieter met his eyes. "Sometimes, honestly, sometimes I do. Sometimes I think the creative act of composition is the real achievement, and performance is technical execution, highly skilled execution, but execution nonetheless." Thomas nodded, not agreeing, just acknowledging honesty. "And sometimes I think performance is everything, that a song is just notes on paper until someone gives it life. That all my composition means nothing if no one delivers it emotionally. That your contribution is equally creative, just different. Which do you believe more often? Depends on the day, depends on my ego, depends on whether I'm feeling secure or insecure. And today, Today I'm looking at our first gold record and thinking, I created that, I made that possible. I wrote the song that 250 people bought, pause, and also thinking, you made that possible. You sang it in a way that made 250 people want to buy it. Thomas appreciated the honesty, the admission, the complexity. I think the same thing, but inverted. I think I performed that, I delivered that, I gave emotion to notes, I made people feel something, that's why they bought it. And then I think, but Dieter created the notes, created the structure, created the foundation. Without that, I'd have nothing to perform. So we're both right, and both wrong, and both a little bit entitled, and both a little bit guilty about feeling entitled. They stood with that, with the mutual confession, with the unspoken competition, with the partnership that worked while also creating constant internal measuring. The gold record hung between them, literally and figuratively, proof of success, evidence of collaboration, monument to ambiguity. The plaque says modern talking, Thomas said. Not Dieter Bohlen, not Thomas Anders, modern talking, because we're a duo, a partnership, legally, contractually, publicly, but privately. We both know our individual contributions, know what we each brought, know what we're each responsible for, and we both think ours is slightly more important. Human nature, everyone values their own contribution more, sees their own work more clearly, understands their own effort better. Does that create resentment? Dieter considered, sometimes small resentments, moments where I think I did the hard part. Or moments where you probably think I did the hard part, but mostly it's just reality. Partnership means shared credit, shared achievement, shared glory, and somewhere inside, both of us think we deserve slightly more than half. Is that sustainable? 4 years so far, multiple gold records now, seems sustainable. But does it feel fair? Fair is complicated. Is it fair that I have composition skills you don't have? Is it fair that you have vocal ability I don't have? Is it fair that success requires both? Fair doesn't enter into it, it just is. Thomas looked at the plaque again. When people see this, they see modern talking. They don't separate us, don't credit individually, don't calculate percentages. That's the public view. We're a unit, a brand, a phenomenon, but we're not a unit. We're two individuals collaborating. Yes, who both think they're slightly more responsible for the success. Yes, and neither will say it out loud. We're saying it now, carefully, diplomatically, with caveats and qualifications, not claiming superiority, just acknowledging the thought exists. Is that healthy? Probably not, but it's honest. They stood. Looking at gold, seeing different things, Dieter saw composition validated, his creative work proven valuable, his musical instincts confirmed correct, market success proving artistic merit. Thomas saw performance validated, his vocal delivery proven effective, his emotional interpretation confirmed resonant, market success proving his artistic contribution essential. The manager returned, looks good on the wall, going to be the first of many. Hope so, Dieter said. Definitely, Thomas added. You both seem subdued. I expected more excitement. We're excited, Dieter said. Just processing. It's a big moment, Thomas added. First gold record is special. So why the somber mood? Both men looked at each other. Brief glance, unspoken communication. Just thinking about what it represents, Dieter said. About the work that went into it, Thomas added. About what comes next, Dieter continued. About maintaining the success, Thomas finished. The manager nodded, accepted the explanation, didn't see the deeper conversation, didn't understand the unspoken negotiation happening beneath the surface. Over the following weeks, the gold record became part of the studio landscape, visible, present, constant reminder. Sometimes they'd glance at it, sometimes ignore it. Sometimes feel pride, sometimes feel that small internal question, how much of this is mine? More awards came, more gold records, platinum, international certifications, each one arriving, each one hung, each one creating the same internal negotiation, the same unspoken question, the same complex answer. They never discussed it explicitly. Again, never returned to that March afternoon conversation. Never needed to. Both understood, both felt it, both lived with the ambiguity. In interviews, journalists asked, who's more important to modern talking success? They deflect, we're both essential. It's a true partnership. Can't have one without the other. Public diplomatic answers, private complex reality. Dieter gave interviews about composition, about his creative process, about songwriting craft, subtly centering his contribution, subtly claiming authorship. Thomas gave interviews about performance, about vocal technique, about emotional delivery, subtly centering his contribution, subtly claiming equal importance, neither contradicting the other, neither openly competing, just positioning, just maintaining their internal sense of value, just ensuring their contribution wasn't diminished. The awards accumulated, the studio walls filled with gold, with platinum, with international certifications, each one saying modern talking, each one meaning Dieter and Thomas, each one creating the same question neither fully answered: who owns this? The legal answer was clear: shared ownership, partnership, equal split, business structure established, contracts signed, royalties divided. The emotional answer was complex. Both felt majority ownership, both felt primary responsibility, both felt the other was essential but secondary, not consciously, not maliciously, just naturally. Human tendency to value own contribution more, to see own effort more clearly, to understand own sacrifice better. Years later, during the 1987 breakup, the awards became division points, literal and figurative. What happens to the plaques? The manager asked. Dieter and Thomas looked at each other. Split them, Thomas suggested. How do you split plaques? Each one is individual. Take half each. Which ones do I get? Which ones do you get? The ones that meant most to each of us. How do we determine that? We can't, because we'd both pick the same ones. Silence. Truth acknowledged. They'd both pick the first gold record. They'd both pick the biggest hits. They'd both claim ownership of the most significant achievements. Make copies, the manager suggested. Both get full sets. Copies aren't the same, Dieter said. Original has meaning, original has value. So we fight over originals, Thomas asked. Or we acknowledge that physical possession doesn't matter, that the achievement exists regardless of who has the plaque. They left the plaques in the studio, neutral ground, neither taking them, both leaving them, symbolic abandonment or symbolic sharing, depending on interpretation. During the 1998 reunion, the old studio had been sold. The plaques moved to storage. Should we get them out? The manager asked. Display them again. Are they ours? Thomas asked. Both of ours, of course, Dieter said. Modern talking's achievements, not Dieter's achievements that Thomas helped with. Not Thomas's performances that Dieter composed for. Both smiled, grim recognition, old wound, old question, old ambiguity. Leave them in storage, Dieter decided. We know what we accomplished, don't. Plaques to prove it. Agreed, Thomas said, but both knew the question remained. Who really owned those achievements? Who was primarily responsible? Who deserved more credit? The reunion created new awards, new gold records, new platinum certifications. Same question, same ambiguity, same unspoken negotiation. The 2003 final breakup included legal division of assets, awards, plaques, certifications. Lawyers handled it. Contracts. Specifications, division of physical items, each took half, mathematically fair, emotionally unsatisfying, because half didn't feel like enough to either of them. Half felt like diminishment, like acknowledgement that they were only partially responsible, only partially the author of success, only partially the owner of achievement. Both wanted more than half. Both deserved more than half, in their own minds, in their own assessment, in their own understanding of contribution. Both settled for half, legally, contractually, but emotionally. Emotionally, both still felt like the primary author, the real creator, the true owner. That was March 1985's legacy. The first gold record, the moment both realized partnership means shared credit, shared glory, shared achievement. An unshared belief that you're slightly more responsible than your partner. The plaque said modern talking, both names, equal credit. The thought said mine, singular possessive, individual ownership. The tension between those two truths defined their partnership: public unity, private competition, shared success, individual claim. The first gold record hung on the wall, beautiful. Official proof of achievement, monument to collaboration, evidence of success, and reminder of the question neither could answer, neither wanted to answer, neither dared to answer honestly without breaking the partnership. Who really owns this? Dieter thought, I do, primarily. My composition made it possible. Thomas thought, I do, equally. My performance made it successful. The plaque thought, you both do, indivisibly, together. The public thought, modern talking does. The duo. The brand, the phenomenon, everyone was right, everyone was wrong, the achievement existed, the ownership was ambiguous, the credit was shared, The feeling was individual. That was the reality. That was the truth. That was March 1985, the month the first gold record arrived, and the question was born whose achievement is this really. They looked at it together, thought about it separately, never answered it honestly, never could, because honest answer would be, I think it's more mine than yours, and saying that would break what they'd built. So they didn't say it, just thought it, lived with it, felt it, every time they looked at the gold on the wall, every time they received another award, every time someone congratulated modern talking and both thought me. That was partnership, shared credit. Private claim, public unity, personal ownership, success together, achievement individually. The mathematics didn't work. 1 + 1 = 2, but both thinking they equal at least 1/5, both right in their contribution, both wrong in their assessment, both essential, both claiming primacy. The gold record knew the truth. Neither could have done it alone. Both needed each other. Success required both. The achievement was genuinely shared, but knowing that intellectually and feeling it emotionally are different things. They knew it intellectually. They felt individual ownership emotionally. That gap defined everything. That tension powered everything. That ambiguity explained everything. March 1985, first gold record. Same question, different answers. Neither spoken, both felt. Forever unresolved, because resolution would require one to admit you were more important than me, and neither could admit that, neither would admit that, neither believed that, so the question remained, hanging on the wall with the gold, visible, unspoken, permanent. Whose achievement is this? Both thought mine, the plaque answered. Ours. The truth was both, and neither, and somewhere in between, and impossible to measure, and beside the point, and the entire point, the first gold record. The question it created, the answer that never came, that was modern talking, success together, ownership disputed, achievement shared, credit claimed, partnership built on mutual necessity, sustained by mutual respect, complicated by mutual belief in individual primacy. They built something great together, neither could have built alone. Both believed they were the primary builder, all true, all false, all the same time. That was March 1985, the first gold record, the beginning of the question that would never end, whose is this really?